Welcome. And what are you doing today? In my last ramble, I babbled about the meaning of life. I contrasted Ralph the amoeba and Ollie the dog with you and me. Ralph and Ollie just get on with life, do stuff, never fret about the meaning of it all. We, on the other hand, get twisted up by questions. It's good for us to be getting on with life and doing stuff as well. Choosing what to do in the everyday gives meaning to our lives. Content becomes purpose if content is well selected. It's the practical solution to meaning of life. And collaterally, being busy distracts from any existential anxieties that might be haunting us. So let's talk about what to do today and tomorrow and onwards. How can we be a little bit more thoughtful about choosing what to do with and in our lives? How can we choose things that satisfy, at least in part, the quest for meaning? I'm not going to talk about the specific things you might choose to focus your time on. That should be your choice. That's the point. I do want to talk about a sorting tool to help you and me make those choices well. You've likely seen versions of this before. I didn't invent it. I'm not claiming any original thoughts here, just an original communication of them. It's this simple what to do matrix. Like the Acme Factometer from a previous ramble, it's free for use. It's a tool to help us be a little bit more thoughtful. There are only 2 questions about anything you might be doing or thinking about doing. Do I like doing it? Yes or no? And am I good at it? Yes or no? So, 4 different answer combinations. Let's start with zone 3. You find yourself doing stuff you are good at, but you don't really like. We can get stuck in this trap, sometimes for a lifetime. Being good at something isn't enough if it's not also fun or fulfilling or useful or meaningful as defined by you. The trouble is we are rewarded for doing stuff we are good at. Go to school, you get rewarded for academic performance. Go home, and your parents have particular aspirations for you. Check around, and society has conveniently defined success and failure. On whose terms? Well, they didn't ask you, did they? This is the classic trap where you do things for the approval of others. Work is like this for many of us. You're a stellar performer, Smith, says the boss, a real asset to the company. Thanks, says Smith, while thinking, that is nice to hear, but I still hate this job. The very, very hard thing is to do things for ourselves. Back in grade 1, my class was assigned the drawing of a self-portrait. The teacher criticized mine, didn't like where I had placed my eyes. I was a little confused. If it's a picture of me, made by me, whose approval matters? But that was my last early, feeble rebellion. I spent the rest of my school career pleasing and being rewarded for pleasing. Eventually it got so muddled that the only way to please myself was through the lens of pleasing others. I was good at school on someone else's terms. If we derive meaning in what we are doing from the reactions of others, we have become passive in our quest for meaning. It is being prescribed for us, not created by us. This is not ideal. So how to escape this trap? The first step is simple awareness. If I am being propelled down a tunnel, let me at least open my eyes and look for some light. The second and much harder step is to turn the tide. Shut off the voices of external approval or disapproval and focus on discovering what we really want to do. Self-approval is the rarest approval of all. It's also the most important. You are the one critic you can never escape. But by the time we are adults, we have turned our internal voice into one of constant seeking for others' approval. Irony here, it's our internal voice seeking to hear not itself but the voices of others, adding to that constant self-criticism and disapproval. And there is no magic fix. Earning your own approval will take the rest of your lifetime and a good deal of bravery. You have to put your mind to it and practice it every day. And let's be realistic. Getting out of Zone 3 is sometimes impossible. Take Smith at work. Many of us are genuinely work trapped because we got good at doing a thing and we are rewarded, paid to do it, and we need the money, and it's far from obvious what other paid choices are out there for us. There are lots of motivational speakers and writers out there who promise a quick fix turnaround. Often it's illustrated by their own story of languishing and hitting some kind of rock bottom and then rising like a phoenix to glorious reinvention and self-fulfillment. That happens very rarely. Getting out of the pleasing others trap is a slow, staggering, ever incomplete process. I'm not saying this to quash your hope. I'm telling you it's long, hard work to actually answer the question of what you really want to do for yourself. It's long, hard work to hear yourself. It's long, hard work to change the way you have been taught to value what you do. It's long, hard work to take action, even when you do see an agenda for change. Should you despair if you can't get out of the trap right away? Stuck doing too much you really don't like? When are things so bad that you have to act relatively quickly? My partner Ruth introduced me to the 3-question Take Stock of Your Life test. Are you happy with what you're doing, work or other, the very topic of this ramble? Do you like who you are with in life, partner or other, or just self if that works for you? Do you like the place and frame in which you live? She says most of us don't get to more than 2 out of 3 yeses most of the time, and that's just fine. If you're stuck in a bad work situation, but you have the right partner or friend and the right place to be outside work, you have some time to solve your work problem. Ruth's point is not to struggle for unattainable perfection, but to revel in the attainable. But if you slip down to 1 yes and 2 no's, well, then you'd better think about changing something up before too long, because you're going to feel more and more miserable. So what to do? Well, that brings us to zones 1 and 2 on our matrix. Things we like to do. This is where we want to be in terms of what to do with self, and I'll start with zone 2. Things you like doing but are not necessarily good at. As little kids, we hung out in this zone because our pleasures had not yet been ruined by self-criticism and fear of others' disapproval. We clunked away at things for the sheer joy of it, results be damned. Until the day someone told us we sucked, and we could tell from their tone of voice that this was a big and bad deal. And then we learnt to value only things we are good at. We learned to do things with an eye to external approval. We became captives of Zone 3. But Zone 2 is clearly a better place to be than Zone 3. And a bonus thought, it's by being willing and brave about doing things you are not good at that you will continue to try and experience new things throughout your life. And second bonus thought, if you enjoy doing things you're not good at, you'll slowly find yourself getting better at them. Like everyone around you, you're a learner. So then you might find yourself in Zone 1, Nirvana. You're doing something you like, and to boot, it's something you are good at. That's super rewarding. Bask in it. You can't always surf in Zone 1. It can come, and it can go in a flash. You have to work at getting there and dwelling there. And that's not all fun and fulfillment. It's also sweat and investment. You have to pick things you like, figure out what it is you like about them, and make sure you genuinely do like them and that you're hearing your voice and not others. And you have to work at getting good at them. The reward is evident. Just look at the matrix. Zone 4, the last one, is the exact opposite. It's the awful place to be. It's very rare that a Zone 4 activity will migrate into another zone. Getting out is your best strategy. And that's all you need to know about Zone 4. And that's it. Except, just a minute, all this talk about shunning external praise in order to uncover and distinguish what you like from what you are merely good at, it sounds a little cold. Most of us want to live close in with others, and to participate in friendships and partnerships, and part of being close is to want to please those we are close to. Their input, response, encouragement, gratitude, discouragement, criticisms, those matter. And so it should. So what's wrong with wanting external input? Nothing. So long as it does not replace our own desires to be going on with the things we are going on with. So long as it complements, not substitutes for, our own likes. So long as those external voices respect us for being us and doing the things we like to do. I want you to approve or at least like or get something out of this publicly posted ramble, but I'm also doing these rambles mostly for myself and my own self-understanding. This is the 6th ramble. 5 have already been published on YouTube, and to date, no one has visited them. That's okay too. But as always, don't take it from me. I may have it wrong. Please, think for yourself about what to do in and with your life.